Hello, Steve White, Steve White's 89 here. Kathy Ann has spoken to The Hollywood Reporter and she has opened a small can of worms. Now, everyone and their dog from the fandom menace and that whole side has jumped on this and attacked her for playing the victim and being a social justice warrior and everything. And at first, I was kind of going along with that. I actually tried to read the whole article. It's actually quite long, and the parts they were attacking were only very small parts of the article. But she does basically give them what they want, what they need, what they're asking for. She does play the victim. She does point out her status as a woman and a person of color, an Asian American director. She basically plays the victim and blames people's attitudes for the failure of the film, and even just says it shouldn't even be classed as a failure, and just saying that it is a failure of a film and that it failed as a film is an act of racism or somehow offensive, or not just stating facts. It cost $82 million, it only made 200. Now that's not enough of a profit. That's not the kind of profit a studio like DC, Warner Brothers, Paramount, Marvel, any of them, Disney, want from a comic film. So the reality is they didn't write a film that appealed to enough people. They didn't market it the right way, and that's why it didn't make money. Not because people are racist and hate women. Most people, I think, didn't even know that it was directed by a female or a female of color, except for the fact that they were touting it as much as they could for the people who would see the film for that political reason. I don't think anyone else cared. So it doesn't serve her well. I mean, she should have been more classy and just moved on to the next project and not complained and put herself in the victim role of, oh, I didn't get a fair shot because I'm a woman. I didn't get a fair shot because it's an action film starring a woman. And the other element that she goes into, like I said, it's a big interview and she only talks about these two parts for like two questions. So it's a very small part of the interview. And she doesn't go on about it. It's not the whole focus of the interview, but she does say it. And once you quote those quotes, they speak for themselves and are worthy of criticism. And she's sort of asking for being attacked by all the haters. I mean, she gave them exactly what they wanted. She played the victim. She played the race card. She played the girl card. She played every card she could, just at least in those little sections. And that's enough. All you need is give someone a soundbite. That's all they need. They don't need a whole article. They don't need a whole argument. They just need a soundbite. They just need a quote. And she gave them that. And the other thing that was bizarre was she just went on to say, oh, the fact the film didn't do so well basically just unfortunately sort of speaks to the fact that we just weren't ready for a female action film yet. And I'm like, and she goes on about how people, were so excited to see themselves represented for the first time. And I'm like, all these people, they all do the same thing. They act like their film is the first film to ever have a person of color or a woman or a LGBT alphabet person. I'm gay, I can say that. I just can't remember the letters at the moment. It gets confusing even for us. It just doesn't help. It doesn't. It just makes you look weak, like you're playing the victim. She should have just focused on her next project, moved on, had some class, instead of just getting stuck in this whole blaming the fans, playing the victim. I don't know what else more to say about it. It's just it just hurts her credibility. I mean, it's not the first time a female has directed a film or directed an action film or a comic book film. Hello, Wonder Woman, Patty Jenkins. No one cared that Patty Jenkins directed that film. They just enjoyed it because it was a good film. No one cared. But yet they made a big deal out of it, and people are making a big deal out of this. Now she's the first female Asian director to direct a comic book film. But again, I don't think anyone cares. I just think they're finding excuses because they made mistakes. They tried to create a film for a specific audience, not the actual existing audience, but a specific audience. They tried to market to that, and they alienated a large part of the fan base. That was their fault. Now, if they artistically want to create a film like that and they don't care about box office, fine, go for it. But if you are a studio who wants a big box office and you want mass appeal, you don't hire someone like this who, she did one film called Dead Pigs, which is an independent film which doesn't even have distribution in America yet. And they gave her this film. I'm like, why would you give someone with that little experience? That is what hurts her and what hurts the film, not her sex, not her race, her lack of experience, and just the fact she doesn't even want to make a Hollywood comic book film. She wanted to make a different type of film, and she did. And it got a different sort of audience than that film would. So she doesn't get to complain and blame people for it. That was their choice. And the studio doesn't get to blame anyone either, because they knew what kind of film she was making and they went with it. So, yeah, it's not as bad as they're making it sound. She's not screaming and ringing the whole time. She just makes these two very strong statements that basically make her sound, at least in that context, on that subject about that film and its reaction, as she's playing the victim and she's playing the race card, and it doesn't make her look strong. It doesn't advance anyone's cause, and she probably should have just focused on the positive, because I don't really think there's anything there, and she's just not creating it, but playing on it, playing the victim card. And it does make her look like a social justice warrior, because they are perennial victims, and they're never happy. And she just sounds for a few seconds like that, and that's enough for people to make a big deal out of it, and it doesn't make her look good. And I think I've made my points. I'm gonna go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Yeah, I mean, I have no problem with her directing. From what I saw of the film, it was fine. I just wasn't interested in it. I'll watch it on DVD eventually. It wasn't marketed towards me, so I didn't see it. It's fairly simple. But I will eventually see it, just for continuity, because I'm going to see the second Suicide Squad, same character, and that's the only reason why. Okay, bye.